Going on a bit of a tirade today because I am pissed. Royally pissed. Before I explain to you exactly what Uber did to make me wonder if I'm ever going to waste my time with that godforsaken company ever again,
I'll turn this damn bus around.
I'm going to explain to you why this is important for everybody. I'm going to put some stats on the screen. I'm not going to read every single one of them because from my years as a math teacher, I know the people that understand numbers don't listen. They just look at the numbers, and the people that don't understand numbers tune you out the second you start talking about them. But the main point of all these statistics are that there is a trend leaning towards an ever-growing gig economy. The number of companies that rely exclusively on gig workers, such as Uber or DoorDash, has grown 550% over the last several years. In 2014, there was only 26 companies that did that. Today, there's over 170. And it makes sense. Why take on the risk and cost of an actual employee when you can get the same work done for much cheaper? In my extensive research, I've come to the conclusion that the gig economy is like viagra for corporate America. It allows them to do something with you that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. Getting the benefits that come with an employee without having to give out the liabilities that come with being an employer. And when they stick it to you for more than 4 hours, you can't call a doctor because you don't have health insurance. Despite my anger, I will still be honest and share that I do believe Uber and Lyft and a lot of these other gig platforms are a great temporary fix for a lot of people. You'll see that I earned almost $50 an hour this weekend. What I want you to take from this video, though, especially if you're part of the 58% of gig workers that report relying heavily on the income that they earn from their gig, make sure you have a backup plan or an exit strategy for when the day comes that your gig platform tells you to go and love yourself like Uber just did to me. And in my anger, I looked at the cut Uber takes from the fares for the first time in a long time, and I was shocked at what I found. I was always under the impression that I got 75% of my fare. Not only did I find that typically Uber's taken 50% of most rides, it seems as though they don't even make that information accessible until 2 weeks after the ride was given. Those fares I just showed you were from May because when I tried to figure out how much they were taking this past weekend, I ran into a dead end. Even when I click this link that it tells me to find out, there's nothing to show for the share that Uber gets. I assume that's by design, and to that I have to say, that is a well-played psychological tactic, Mr. Uber, because I imagine if after every ride I saw that I earned, say, $12 and Uber earned $13, it would be pretty discouraging, especially after a particularly frustrating ride.
Eddie. Eddie. Hey, Eddie. Eddie boy.
I don't find this very amusing. I know you guys think you're being funny. But when they bury it in the app and don't make it available for 2 weeks, I never think to look. And when I do, I don't have the emotional connection to the ride that I have in the moment.
Eddie, when's your birthday?
I'll tell you what, I'm just going to drop you off at the corner here. You can call a different Uber because this just isn't worth my time.
So back to what sparked all this. I've been grinding my off. There's a couple of projects that I finally decided to nut up and get her done. One of which is my first season of my podcast, Cheesesteaks With, available here on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And I needed a little break. And that's why I've always liked Uber. It's an easy way to make a little money, keeps me out of the bars, and gives myself a little mental break from creating content. I like what I do, but good Lord, if anyone ever heard my inner dialogue while I was editing, I think I'd be committed.
Losing his mind.
So I headed to the shore, not to get drunk and lay on the beach like the rest of the Delaware Valley, but to work Uber. Down there, the rates are higher, the islands are packed with drunks who need a ride, and the general mood of people down the shore compared to Philly is like night and day. You don't feel like everyone and their mother is looking to fight you. It's only the dudes in their early 20s.
I hear it, don't you? Turn it up. Turn it up. Nigga, turn it up. Bro, you want me to get mad?
Which I can deal with. My goal was to earn enough over the weekend to cover my entire monthly expenses. And if I hit the ride promotion and got a little lucky, I think I'd make it. Now, even though they like to market it like you're your own boss, you're anything but. One of the biggest reasons being that you don't get to choose the rides you take and you have no idea where they're going to take you until after the trip starts. Sometimes even during the trip if the ride has multiple stops.
Headed to first stop. Third Street?
Yeah, perfect.
Where's the second stop, out of curiosity?
Something.
Guys.
Thank you so much. I can direct.
Oh yeah, no, it'll pop up. I just can't see it.
No,
Just kind of curious.
And that being said, I got a little unlucky with the rides that were given to me, but whatever. I still made decent money, and I knew that with one more day, I'd hit the amount of rides I needed to get the promotion. And even though I wouldn't hit my goal, I'd be close enough that giving up my holiday weekend and drastically changing my sleep schedule would be worth it. So I slept away a beautiful July 3rd to prepare myself for another 4 a.m. night, ready to go out there and give my 17 rides to hit my promotion money. Only to find that Uber, without any sort of warning, decided that I needed a background check before I could drive again, and that wouldn't be complete for 3 to 5 business days. No warning, no option to do it early so it wouldn't interrupt my ability to work, just a giant you, Ed. Now stick with me here because it's going to sound crazy at first, but my theory is that Uber purposely triggers these background checks or other methods to disrupt drivers' ability to work in order to prevent them from hitting the promotion, because that's money out of their pocket. Now I know you may think, well, that doesn't make sense because by me not driving, that means Uber makes less money, right? Wrong. This is what I realized. In certain instances, Uber is actually incentivized not to have drivers on the road. The way surge pricing works is all about supply and demand. Put it like this: if a ride from Ocean City to Sea Isle is typically $25, it would take 4 rides for Uber to make $100, right? But when it's surging and that ride costs $50, now it only takes 2 rides for Uber to make the same amount of money. And when it's really surging and that ride costs $100, it only takes 1 ride for Uber to pull in the same amount of money it did when there were 4 drivers available. Check out these 2 rides. Because there were less drivers available, Uber and myself actually earned more money for a much shorter ride. Down the shore is the perfect environment for Uber because Lyft has almost zero presence down there. You can see the drastic difference in prices between the two at the same time for the same exact trip. There's no parking and everyone is drunk. And the little bit of life the cab companies were clinging to died during the pandemic, so Uber has the market cornered.
You talking to me?
You have to understand that this company has billions of data points over the past decade for its drivers and its riders. It would almost be irresponsible of them not to use that information to their advantage, and I'm sure they can see the tipping point of when surge pricing benefits them more than the quantity of rides. I'm sure they can also see the likelihood of someone calling an Uber to go home from the bar when they already called one to get out and realize that no matter how high they jack the prices, that person's going to use Uber. I'm sure they can also see the likelihood of a driver like me finishing a quest he started and find a way to prevent me from reaching it so they don't have to pay me an extra $145. And if you think $145 sounds trivial to a billion-dollar company, you're looking at it all wrong. With 1 million drivers in the United States alone, if they were to prevent 1,000 drivers from getting that $145 promotion, just 0.1% of their drivers every week, that adds up to $7.5 million per year that Uber keeps in its pocket. No small amount for a company that reported a cash flow of only $15 million in Q1 of 22. And that's not even considering the hundreds of millions of dollars it lost during the pandemic. If you want to see more ways of how driving Uber is in no way like running your own business, and how that's just a false narrative created by marketing dollars and expensive lawyers, check out this video here. Thanks for watching.